This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
And we are ending this bracket and badly singing too. Yeah, these wonders have one hit. Enjoy these groovy tunes. And so let's rank that funky music, Baconsale. Rank that funky music right. Rank that funky music, Baconsale. Share facts and show bias and rank that funky music till there's one.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, 70s. Welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zach.
And we'd like to thank you for listening to the first part of this bracket, our 70s one-hit wonder bracket.
We've only just begun.
Is that 70s?
That's
Probably.
not a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
I think it was a really fun show.
I enjoyed it.
Many have called it a tier 1 show.
Yay.
I mean, I'm willing to pat ourselves on the back and say that I think it was, but Reverse Listener over on Twitter said, yeah, I think Baconsale needs to release a full version of their In the Summertime cover, including all of the sounds and the nose flute.
Although, if you notice on that, when we sang our song, I said, in the weather time. I don't know why.
Dude,
A
nobody's listening
remix,
to
Joel.
that.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
It's so good.
For
Now
copyright
it's an
issues.
original
we
song.
changed it.
Yeah.
In the weather time, when the summer is weather. Why? Why are there guns?
Well, speaking of why, we're now multiple weeks into the cilantro debacle.
Oh, God.
On
Your
social
fault,
media.
Joel.
It's not my fault.
Kind of your fault.
I didn't bring it up.
I brought it up, but then you carried it on.
Multiple listener, Drew Kimball, tier 1 intro. Thank you. Cilantro, not even tier 3. What?
Yeah.
I'm with Joel on this one. It can taste a single leaf in addition. It ruins it. Nasty soap flavor. What? Why?
Because the 70s was a big time for herbs.
Well,
Cilantro.
Rachel
Well played.
Rachel Grey Crump also weighing in on the cilantro debate, saying it's the worst. She goes on to talk about yacht rock, which is pretty cool, and then says we'd come to a Baconsale band concert. So
How much would we need to practice, or would this be unplanned? Like, would someone name a song and then we just start
singing?
performing
Oh,
it?
Please,
Yeah.
no.
I am so down for that.
she also says you guys singing every song is tier 1, even if you're singing a tier 3 song.
Yeah.
Aw,
That
thanks.
that to me, that is
That's
a
warming.
true sign of respect.
That's warming.
And then most importantly, finally, I just have to shout out Renee Hilton, who says it was fun listening to it. My era.
Yep. She
Yeah.
was one of the consultants for this show.
Your mom
Yes,
was a
my mom
consultant.
And so
She is the best.
I'm glad that she wasn't offended by our choices, because we did go against some of her things she said.
Oh, and guess what? We're about to kill some darlings tonight.
We have to. That's the thing.
She liked last time because we got rid of the cannon fodder, but tonight there's going to be some tough choices. And like we said, this is our bracket. You can find it at baconsale.com. You can also find our Spotify playlist there where you can get to know these songs. And
Yeah, because if you don't know them, there's some gems in here.
yeah.
There's
And-
some that I have discovered through this and really enjoy.
But we rank these based on the presence in the 70s, and even if they've had staying power today, that's 33%. Performance is 33%, and personal taste is 34%. There's science and math in this.
Bacon math.
Yeah. Although the second
Bacon
round,
math is very fuzzy.
I always love how the second round, how we just start contradicting ourselves every other round.
Oh, it's all personal preference.
Yeah, we are
And
terrible
it's because
at this.
we want to make an argument against a particular song, and then we realize when we get to the next song, we're like, oh, crap. I made this argument before. Now I got to backtrack.
Baconsale is an argument of convenience every time.
Very true. But that's what we're talking about today, right, Zach?
That's exactly what we're talking about today. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, dang, the thing we do doesn't work.
So we're getting down to number one, and I want to ask you guys, having now listened to the entire playlist, having looked at the bracket, do you guys have personal favorites? Do you know who will win? Because I sure don't.
I will say this. I have songs that I think in my mind I really like, and then actually sitting down and listening to the whole song, I'm like, ooh, maybe not. Because there's some of these that I go, this is super fun. I really like it.
There are these most successful songs on here, but are they our favorites? I don't know.
And I have favorites, but I don't know who's going to win. There's no clear winner here.
Are you going to be upset one way or another?
There will be. I'm sure I will be.
Going
It's
into
usually me.
going into these, there's always a decent idea. This is maybe the most
Ambivalent?
open yet. Yeah, I guess.
I feel a little detached from it because it wasn't my era. But
yeah,
I know songs that sound tacky and ones that sound quality.
for me, it was the 2000s one-hit wonders was a little bit like, I don't know, whatever. Which is funny because that was my era.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm like, I would be really satisfied.
Really,
with
Stacy's mom, your heart wasn't in it. Okay.
But did it win?
No.
We were dumb. I don't know what we did. Bad day. Come on.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of these that if they win, I will be satisfied.
Okay. So
Let's do this. Print off your brackets at Baconsale.com and join us for this the advanced bracket, and join us for this final round of the 70s One Hit Wonder show.
Once again, just because we're on that kick lately too, along with cilantro, Baconsale.com. Okay. First up, for our first matchup, we have Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas.
Oh ho ho!
Ha! Oh, that hasn't aged great still. Versus Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jacks.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
Guys, you got a key change. Have you recognized this song key changes like 4 times?
It does.
We had
It's
joy,
exciting.
we had fun.
There we go.
There we go.
I like it.
I wish I could remember the rest of the lyrics, though. It's like, goodbye,
Goodbye,
England's Rose. No, that's
goodbye.
not it. Okay, so jumping into both of these, like I said, I don't have a clear winner, but
Come
I have
on,
one
you-
that I definitely think is going to win this one.
Yeah, come on, you contemporary adult.
Yeah, nice.
So Kung Fu Fighting sold over 11 million records. Seasons in the Sun was number 1 in 12 countries, including the U.S. So both huge hits.
Yeah, and Kung Fu Fighting, Carl Douglas is actually a Jamaican vocalist who was raised in the United Kingdom. For some reason, I thought this was an American song.
Right.
Because it just felt that kind of, kitschy thing. And it's based on the something...
Because it felt a little racist. Is that why?
Apparently, there's something called the Chop Socky film craze, which was like when a bunch of these martial arts films came out, corny, cheesy, kind of a spaghetti western type thing.
Yeah.
And this was capitalizing on that craze.
Sure. One
So-
of them's more fun.
Is it Kung Fu Fighting?
I think
you can't
so.
just throw statements out like that.
I
and
think-
have
I
us
think
guess.
let's just get into this. We got a lot of these to go through.
Kung Fu Fighting is more fun.
Well, I do feel like
I didn't know Seasons in the Sun at all until this bracket. I like it.
it is kind of sleepy John Denver.
It is. It's sweet.
It's a very sweet song.
Well,
but
it's
we don't-
based on. I was going to say that it's based on this French song. "Seasons in the Sun" is based on this French song "Les Moribonds" by a Belgian singer called Jacques Brel. Thank you. I'm doing these names now.
Yeah, well played.
Yes, but this one, the original one's actually kind of dark, and it's about this guy who's dying, and he says all these things like, "I want them to laugh, I want them to dance,
Goodbye,
I want them to
Papa."
amuse themselves like crazy when they put me in a hole," because he's dying.
Right.
And the Kingston Trio first recorded it, and they did kind of a French version, and Terry Jacks rewrote it a little more upbeat because he thought it was too...
Yeah, it's about a friend who had leukemia, right?
Well, he wrote it while a friend who had leukemia, but he made this a little more upbeat because he felt the old one was too macabre. But it was supposed to be for the Beach Boys, and then it didn't work out. It's a Christmas song, apparently.
What?
Westlife did a cover that was big,
Seasons in the Sun is a Christmas song?
I guess. Because it's a looking back one, an end of year, I guess. I don't know. And then Nirvana covered it, too, on their album With the Lights Out. I'm giving all those facts because I'm not voting for Seasons of the Sun. I'm voting for Kung Fu Fighting.
As am I.
Yeah, I think so too. Kung Fu Fighting goes on. Now we have The Night Chicago Died by Paper Lace.
I heard my mama cry. I heard her pray the night Chicago died.
Versus Rock and Roll Part 2 by some guy.
Da-na-na-na-na-na. Hey!
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
I was going to do a different part because we sang that one last
Doctor
time.
Who.
No, yeah, because
Yeah.
Doctor in the TARDIS was a song that came out in the 80s that was based on Rock and Roll Part 2 by Gary Glitter. Rock and Roll by Gary Glitter. And my kids, I don't know, I guess they heard Doctor in the TARDIS before they heard Rock and Roll because I was playing Rock and Roll Part 2 for this show and they were like, "Oh, is this that Doctor Who song?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, what have I done?"
Like, I like The Night Chicago Died. It's a fun song. It is a little complicated at times.
Sure.
Like, it jumps into like 4 or 5 different songs all at once.
You're about to say you would sit down and actually listen to Rock and Roll Part 2.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, heavens, no. Unless I'm in a sporting arena.
I think it's unlistenable as a song.
Oh, come on.
No, it's a good strutting song.
No way.
Like, if it's a soundtrack to me strutting down the street, sure.
Or
Down
doing
some
yard work,
stairs.
or doing dishes, or cleaning the house.
When you're dancing
or
doing the
working.
dishes, do you dance while doing the dishes?
I totally do.
Me too.
Let's get into it.
It is way more iconic, though. Like, if you're
because of sporting.
sure, but we all know it. It is, the legacy is there. The legacy has been built.
But the problem
is
it's more
ni-
of a riff than a song.
But there is the song too. If you listen to Rock and Roll Part 1, it actually they say rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll.
Those lyrics are inspired.
Well, they have other lyrics too. That's
Sure,
the
yeah.
chorus. I'm not gonna get
Did
to it.
the guy who write that also write Dora the Explorer?
We're not going
lyrics?
to talk about the guy who wrote
Backpack.
Rock and Roll Part 2.
Let's not.
Except for the fact that Gary Glitter does own 30 glitter suits and 50 pairs of silver platform boots.
Yes.
Because he was won by Paul Rabin originally, but Rock and Roll Part 2 did start as a 15-minute jam session, which they whittled down to like a 5-minute song. Or that's the weird thing about it. Rock and Roll Part 2 is like the first half of the song when I listen to it, and then Rock and Roll Part 1 is the second half of the song where they get the lyrics kicking in. I love
Pretty
it.
cool
Though.
mess.
I listen to it. Night Chicago Died is built on a lie because it's based on the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
So the mayor of Chicago really hated this song, even though they were proud of it, I guess, because they're from the UK. And so he said, in quotes, Paper Lace should jump in the Chicago River, placing your heads under the water 3 times and surfacing twice. Pray tell us, are you nuts?
Man, those 70s insults.
He was on some cilantro at the time, for sure.
Oh, let's let that be code.
It's code.
But yeah, even then, it's based on the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, but it's not because there's no confrontation large enough that left 100 policemen dead, as it talks about in the song.
And they know it's fictional.
It also references the east side of Chicago. It takes place on the east side of Chicago. Chicago has 3 commonly referred to regions: North Side, West Side, South Side. There is no east side, really. Lake Michigan is immediately
Songs
east of
can
downtown
be
Chicago.
fictional.
But if we're talking success, Night Chicago Died was number 1 for 1 week, and then Rock and Roll Part 2 was number 7 on Billboard.
And considering the fact that The Night Chicago Died was plaguing me during a fever dream I had when I was sick recently, it was just the same. The chorus was looping in my head.
Oh, no. Because, of course, the only thing you remember.
I'm voting for Rock and Roll Part 2.
Because you were sick, you had fever dreams about it?
For Night Chicago Died,
Yeah.
it's in my head. I like it, but
Zach?
Night Chicago Died.
All right. Strictly for iconography, it's Rock and Roll Part 2.
I figured. Yes. Rock and Roll Part 2 goes on. Now we have, this is a fun matchup. You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone.
Because you light up my life.
you something.
Nobody knows any other words.
To carry on.
Versus Lovin' You by Minnie Riperton.
Are we doing that again? I don't think we're doing the hide again. La 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 la. Actually, I'll just do tweet 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 because the birds in Lovin' You. Apparently, it was recorded by mistake. Like they were accidentally put on the track, and then Minnie Riperton was like, "I like that. Keep the birds in there." So,
should we keep the song in here?
That's a good question.
No, we should not, is the answer.
Really?
Yeah. Loving You against You Light Up My Life.
Yeah.
They both peaked at number 1, Kent.
They sure did. But You Light Up My Life was number 1 for 10 weeks.
But you just want to vote for Debbie Boone because she's Pat Boone's daughter. And I know how much you like Pat Boone.
Love me some Pat Boone. No, it's like I don't really like either song. I don't think either song is like one of the great romantic songs of all time.
And I have positive associations with Loving You because of making fun of it in the past with coworkers.
Yeah,
but I do enjoy
shout out
it.
to Overstock.
Yeah, shout out. But the thing
Not
about
a sponsor.
You Light Up My Life. I looked up the movie because it was for a movie. She made this song for a movie, Joseph Brooks wrote this song. But it's about a young woman named Laurie who dreams of becoming a singer who soon finds herself pressed by young friends to sing and her father who wants her to become a comic.
What?
She's choosing between being a comedian or a singer.
What parent is like, I want you to be a stand-up comic?
I know! That drove me nuts. She did also write another song. After the success of this one, she decided she was going to write a new song called When You Are Loved from the Magic of Lassie.
Oh, there's magic now. See, Lovin' You sounds like a pumpkin spice cult is placing a spell on me in order to trick me up into the mountains. And so for that reason, I can't abide.
Oh, and I'm voting for Loving You. I think this is a happy accident of a song where I do
accident keyword.
Okay, and if you're going to vote her out, which it sounds like you're going to,
it sounds like
I
we will.
encourage you both to listen to her song "You Take My Breath Away." Because no, not that one. It's called "You Take My Breath Away" by Minnie Riperton, and it is the highest recorded note she reached in the whistle register. It's like an F7 on the third scale. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is either.
But it's
Picking
high.
math.
I listened to it though. It is very high.
Okay, Zach, make the decision.
You Light Up My Life.
No.
Yeah, I turned this song on the radio or on the car as we were driving.
What's the radio?
Yeah, I know. On the Spotify. And me and my wife instantly are just like, you light up.
You just told that story so you could say me and my wife. I know how you are.
You should get one sometime.
But I love that.
Pretty great.
I actually, my first exposure to Loving You though
You monster.
was Vegas Vacation. One of the best moments of Vegas Vacation when
of which there are two.
There's some. But Wayne Newton singing it, and all of a sudden Ellen Griswold sings that really high note, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, fine.
You Light Up My Life goes on. Now we have Making Our Dreams Come True by Cindy Greco.
We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. Sorry about that, Joel.
It's okay. I was going to start this.
Really apologize.
Jump into the chorus now.
Uh-oh. Versus In the Summertime by Mungo Jerry.
Do da 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 dee ba da 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 do da ba da 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 dee da 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 do da. In the weather time, you got summer on your mind. That's the copyright-free version.
That time.
That time it was intentional.
That actually happened. Oops. Last time.
Yeah.
Well, so the Stacy's mom of this bracket.
Yes. We always need a Stacy's mom.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like Mungo Jerry, if you don't know, by the way, he's an orange and black and brown calico with vests and stockings.
I'm more of a Mr. Mistopheles sort of guy.
Mungo Jerry had 19 studio albums. They made 19 albums.
Wow.
But here's the most mind-blowing...
Did they sell 19 copies?
Well, here's the... No. But here's the most mind-blowing fact to me, guys, is that this song, In the Summertime, became one of the best-selling singles of all time, selling 30 million copies. It is in the top 3. Like, if you go to the Wikipedia page of best-selling singles of all time, it is the 3rd one on the list behind White Christmas by Bing Crosby and Candle in the Wind by Elton John.
You are kidding.
How?
That's how big this is.
How? Because the kitsch is there.
Yeah, but that big? I mean, maybe just captured something in 1970 where they're like, that's what I want. That and cilantro.
Well, no, was everyone on cilantro at the time? Because how do people spend money on this nonstop?
I don't know. But
fun fact
I'm
about
spending my money on it.
Fun fact about Making Our Dreams Come True, because it won't make it to the next round. The song was covered by Johnny Cash for a Nissan commercial about their American workforce. And have you guys watched the commercial?
I was going to, but I didn't.
It's sad because it's Johnny Cash kind of selling out, and it reminds me of one of those team building videos. Except for Johnny Cash is there because it's like, we're gonna make our dreams come true, and then you have the people working on cars going, doing it our way, and it's so cheesy.
That is the worst.
I do like Cindy Greco's voice.
Yes,
probably more than Mungo Jerry's.
Would the song be popular without the show?
No. But
exactly.
it's a good, happy song, and I enjoy Making Your Dreams Come True, but it's got to be In the Summertime.
In the Summertime continues on. Now we have Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Swede.
Nah, ha, ha.
Nah, it's a venue. What was that?
Hooked on a feeling.
I'm high on believing.
Versus My Maria by B.W. Stevenson.
My Maria. You know I've been with you for a long time.
Give your death rattle facts on that song.
I like My Maria.
It is a good song, but it doesn't feel 70s. And it's as far as I want country going on this bracket.
And the Brooks and Dunn version is better.
But it didn't reach as high. The B.W. Stevenson version peaked at number 9, whereas Brooks and Dunn's only reached 79 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah, but it's a better song.
Is it, though? By the way, B.W. stands for buckwheat.
Buckwheat?
Yeah.
Buckwheat Stevenson?
Apparently.
Ned Ryerson?
So Hooked on a Feeling moves on?
Well, I feel bad for this guy, though, B.W. Stevenson, because he wrote My Maria, but people remember the Brooks and Dunn version better. Mm-hmm. He also released Shambhala, which was a song by Three Dog Night. He released it 1 week before Three Dog Night version came out, and Three Dog Night became the bigger hit.
What?
I know. Sorry, B.W. Stevenson, but
Blue Sweet Shoes.
Hooked on a Feeling goes on.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me.
Now we have Got to Be Real by Cheryl Lynn.
To be real.
That's the voice.
Thank you, Zach.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, Zach, for being the voice of Cheryl Lynn.
Were those words?
Oh, I'm doing a whole cover of all of these songs, but like sung by the Swedish Chef. Next, we have The Hustle by Van McCoy.
Okay.
Sorry,
How
did the Swedish Chef thing?
So Get to Be Real was number 12 on Billboard. The Hustle was number 1.
Now, Cheryl Lynn, she got her start on the Gong Show, where she did quite well.
She did not get gonged.
And then she was in the Wiz, actually.
Oh.
Remember that? She was the Wicked Witch of the West eventually. She started
So, personal story I think we can all relate to is Zach got married recently, they played the Boot Scootin' Boogie, and I didn't realize the Boot Scootin' Boogie was 5 minutes long.
Nobody
Guess
does.
what else is 5 minutes long? The Hustle.
You guys are going to vote it out, are you? Over Got to Be Real?
I'm not, and I'll tell you why.
Thank you.
Because Get to
Give
Be
me
Real.
some hard facts on this.
Well, it ranks lower.
Got to Be Real ranks lower.
Got to Be Real actually did score on VH1's Top 1 Hit Wonders of All Time as number 33. And that's 1 Hit Wonders of All Time. VH1, which used to be affiliated with music.
Does that exist still?
I don't know, but they did have I Love the 90s back in the, I Love the 80s back in the 2000s.
I love the 70s.
But for me, Got to Be Real, it feels very 70s, which is good, but it's just redundant. We talked about The Hustle, which is also redundant, but Got to Be Real scored lower and is also not as iconic.
I would agree with that.
So you're going to vote for The Hustle?
I am.
Yeah, 1 million copies sold over 1 million copies. The Hustle did. Won a Grammy Award for Best Pop Music and Instrumental Performance. It's The Hustle.
I'm just going to vote for Got to Be Real. Not that it matters, because it has a way better bass line.
It does?
Yep. The Hustle moves on. Now we have Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin.
When you coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then.
Son or dad.
You'll know
we'll have a good time then.
Well, it's either son or dad. I was going with the fatherly figure or the child figure. It's just how we see ourselves in our life, right?
It's one of those
Apparently.
things where you're singing the other one.
Son or dad.
When you coming home, Dad? Dad, when you coming home?
Versus Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest.
Dancing in the moonlight, everybody's feeling warm and bright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's trailing off right now.
Yeah.
Because you forget the
Moonlight.
words, but you're still jamming out to this. Because this is...
You guys made the case that the remake is better. The remake, which sounds very similar
Of Dancing in the Moonlight.
of Dancing in the Moonlight.
Not better, just I knew that one.
While I agree, that doesn't invalidate this very
It's
fun
a
song.
great song.
It's so we're talking. This is bouncy and happy and fun and good versus emotional and sad, and it makes
Beautiful.
you reconsider your choices. And so,
Every time I do this research, I'm like, I need to go talk to my kids. I need to go talk to my
do
kids.
you want that out of your music?
Yes, because it makes you realize what's important in life.
I love music that makes me question my life.
and your parenting skills.
I've just got them.
Would you rather just dance in the moonlight with the pale devil?
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah,
Yes.
precisely.
Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest was actually written originally by Sherman Kelly, he's one of the band members, but he was in a band called Buffalongo, Buffalongo. And
Buffalongo
so
was
he
his
wrote it
name
back then. But then, and the funny thing is, like King Harvest, I mean, they had 10 studio albums, but they were originally formed in 1969, but they broke up in 1971. And then they got back together because they all ended up moving to Paris for some reason and finding each other. And they reformed in Paris as expatriates. And then they decided to revisit Dancing with the Moonlight, and that became their biggest hit.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a great song. I actually have no complaints about Dancing in the Moonlight, but the reason I'm not voting it forward is it just doesn't have the iconic status that Cats in the Cradle does. Granted, the first version I heard of Cats in the Cradle was from Ugly Kid Joe back in like the early
The one
90s.
without the apostrophe.
Yes, precisely. Yeah, I think I'm still going to vote
So
for
you're going
Cats in the Cradle. Yeah.
And then, of course, you are, Joe.
And I can't vote for Dancing Moonlight simply because they used a toilet scrubbing brush on the drums. That's disgusting.
The ch-ch-chus?
But that's in the summertime.
Is Zach playing the toilet brush?
That's my secret. Audio only. So you're
I'm
also
voting for. Of course, I'm voting for Cats in the Cradle.
I'm voting for Dancing in the Moonlight. Not that it matters.
You need to vote first so that we don't vote you out.
I thought we would get along on this one, but I'm already getting
How
mad
mad
at
are you?
two.
Scale 1 to 10.
This is a great song.
How mad?
We're not saying it's not a good song. We're just saying it didn't beat Cats in the Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle moves on.
A child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to
Right now we have Ring My Bell by Anita Ward. There we go.
Ring my bell. Ding
bell.
dong ding.
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
Ding dong.
We're so good at this.
Wow. Versus American Pie by Don McLean.
That'll be the day that I die.
This will be the day that I die.
Yeah, what'd you say? That'll be the day.
That will
That'll
be the day.
be
I
the
die.
day.
This will be.
This will be the day that I die.
will
Guys,
be.
Drinking whiskey and rye.
again, when do you sit down and listen
Honestly,
to
Zach,
all of American Pie?
I was listening to the playlist today, and I can make it about a minute into American Pie because
What?
It's at 8
it
minutes.
deserves
How long is
No,
it?
it deserves 8.5 minutes
It's
to
8.5
sit down.
minutes.
But when are you going to say, I'm really going to enjoy this song for 8.5 minutes?
That's
Back in the
Marco-
day when audio was king.
That's the length of a long Marco Polo.
I do not
Oh,
care if I hear about that stinking Chevy and that dumb Levy one more time.
But is
Hey.
it not a better song than Ring My Bell, though? As many gripes as I have.
Well, when speaking of length, when the single came out for American Pie, they couldn't fit it on one side of a 45 record, so they had to do half the song on the A side and then you flip over the record.
That's kind of a joke, though, right?
And half the one on the B-side. Nope, that's
Turn
true.
over.
But also, Ring My Bell was originally an 8.5-minute song as well.
It's true.
And I had the longer version on our playlist, and I could not listen to it. So I
In
ended
fact,
up dropping it to
even
the
in the
third one.
3.5-minute version, there are 47 instances of the line "Ring My Bell." That's how deep the song goes.
So that is a problem with it. If I had a challenge flag to throw,
Sure.
I would throw it for Ring My Bell. We messed up last week.
Why?
Brandy should have won.
No.
I was listening to the
I
playlist
disagree.
again. No, Brandy is a vastly superior
She's a
song.
fine girl,
We were
but
just
she's
saying
not a
Brandy's
winner.
a fine song. Is that what you're just going to say?
What a fine song
it
she
is.
could have been if she made it.
It should have. And if I could reverse it, a call, any single call, it would be that
So does
one.
that make you more mad at Ring My Bell?
Because Ring My Bell, again, listening to it, and I happened to be listening to it in a setting where it was on a TV, and so the lyrics were scrolling, and it's just Ring My Bell, Ring My Bell, Ring
Yes,
My Bell.
precisely.
And I still would rather listen to it than American Pie. Last week when we were talking about American Pie, we literally didn't even sing the real song. We sang the Weird Al version,
Because
which makes this a better song.
That's the joke.
But it makes it
Even
that's
Don
a more
McLean,
fun song.
Don
than
McLean
this.
said that he really does like Weird Al's parody, and he said he almost sings it when he sings the song.
Yeah, it was
his
because
kids love
These
the
are
song
two
so
number
much.
ones.
Oh, you took a boring song and made it fun.
No,
'Cause that's what American Pie
One
is.
is about like Americana, nostalgia, the music industry, and kind of this all-encompassing, amazing song. And the other one
that includes veiled conversation about the deaths of Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and J.P. Richardson, the Big Bopper.
they're not that veiled, but yeah.
Yes.
Well, no, the whole song is exposition. Like,
Yeah,
let's be
it's
honest.
talking about
but
those guys.
it's boring depth versus a shallow song.
Well-
and boring depth wins for me.
Because "Ring My Bell" was the teeny bopper song that's supposed to be like
Right.
calling people. When they gave it to Anita King, she didn't want to do it actually, but then they made the lyrics a little more grown up, and they decided to avoid any sort of overtly suggestive lyrics. By the way, Anita Ward, she has a degree in psychology from Rust College in Hope Springs, Mississippi, and she was a school teacher when she got this song. And one of her worst fears was being a one-hit wonder.
Oh, no.
But I'm voting for American Pie. So
Ring My Bell.
American Pie.
Do you guys?
Zach, try voting on the right side one time.
American Pie moves on.
Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God above?
All right, moving on to the next round, next side of the bracket, and not that my opinion matters, but
Don't say that, Zach.
now we have My Sharona by the Knack.
Life is like a hurricane.
It is DuckTales.
Versus Ooh Child. by the French
Ooh,
Singer.
child,
things
things,
are
are gonna get easier. Ooh, child,
Wow.
things are
Yeah,
getting
notes are all over the place.
brighter. It's OOH child.
I really just wanted to sing, since we did Weird Al for the last American Pie, I wanted to sing
My Bologna.
Never gonna stop, eat it up. Such a tasty snack, I always eat too much and throw up. But I'll soon be back. My, woo! My bologna. Which as much as I love Weird Al, it's bologna.
Now, the listener did make a case that My Sharona does not sound like a 70s song, and I would agree.
Sounds like an 80s song.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more 70s than some of those other songs on here.
And then we have Ooh Child that honestly sounds like a 60s song to me.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah.
The Five Stair Steps, by the way, who did Ooh Child, they were considered the first family of soul because of their initial run, but then that name eventually got passed to the Jackson Five. So another five, I guess.
The Knack has more success. 6 weeks at number 1, whereas Five Stair Steps got number 8 on Billboard. But Ooh Child is ranked by Rolling Stone as number 402 on the 500 greatest songs of all time. It is the only song of this bracket to make their 500 greatest songs of all time.
So we're talking,
There's legacy?
performance versus legacy here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and Kent, you mentioned the success of My Sharona, or of the Knack.
Yes.
The Knack also had two other top 40 hits, Good Girls Don't and Baby Talks Dirty.
We're not booing
I'm
these
not,
ones, are we?
there might be a little bit of one hit wonder police.
Are we
I'm
going
not-
woot woot?
No,
That's the
I'm
sound
not
of the
bringing-
police.
No, I'm not doing that. I just was one of those things as I was listening to it. I'm like, man, they do have these other hits, and whereas Five Stair Steps, they just have Ooh Child.
Okay, stop. Sorry, please. I'm just going to say, Ooh Child, now argue.
Oh, so you want to go first so you didn't get voted out?
Yes.
Joel, what about you? Now argue. That is your role on Baconsale.
It's true. It's true.
By the way, the Five Steps are named the Five Stair Steps because the Mrs. Burke, their mom of the kids, thought they looked like stair steps when they lined up in order of height.
That's adorable.
It's cute.
You know,
And
they could have been
originally,
called the 5 Von
the
Traps.
A side of the record, which is when we talk about A side kids, on the record there was the
What's a
A
record?
side.
Like a record.
Yeah, like a vinyl record. But on the A side, that was the big song that you wanted everyone to listen to, and the B side was the other song. They actually were doing a cover of "Dear Prudence" by the Beatles, was their A side.
Good song.
And then "Ooh Child" was their B side, and that became the big hit.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna go for My Sharona, just to make it harder on Kent.
Yes.
And because I like that song probably better.
Not hard at all. I would listen to the whole thing of Ooh Child, and I would not listen to all of My Sharona because the last 2 minutes are kind of a weak guitar solo. Ooh Child.
Oh,
Nice.
That's a big one.
It's a big one.
By
And
the
I'm
way,
sorry. It's 6
Sharona-
weeks at number 1.
It's based on a real girl, Sharona,
yeah.
Sharona Applin. She's now a successful realtor in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and of course she definitely capitalizes on the success of that song.
Apparently.
Did a song I picked finally win?
Only 'cause
that's
you
an
voted
upset.
first.
That's an upset.
Yeah. Ooh Child goes on.
Someday, yeah, we'll put it together and we'll get it undone. Someday.
Okay, now it's Magic by Pilot.
Oh, it's magic.
Boop, boop.
You
know.
Which is oddly one of the tunes I keep singing, even though I don't know the song that well. That's one that sticks in my head after we do these episodes.
It is very catchy that way. Yeah. Versus Mr. Big Stuff by Gene Knight.
Mr. Big Stuff. Who do you think you are, Mr.
Okay,
Big Stuff?
I figured out what it is. This is why I struggle with this song. In my mind, I
hard to
go,
say- for me to sing.
roller coaster of love.
Say what?
Which then I go to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
So Magic was a number 5 hit. Mr. Big Stuff was a number 2 hit.
A couple members of Pilot went on to be in the Alan Parsons Project. So they,
Oh, hey, look at
broke up
that.
that band. Whereas Mr. Big Stuff, well, her original last name was Caliste, and they thought it was too hard to pronounce, so she changed it to
the
Knight.
Oh, Khaleesi. Okay.
Yes.
I get
Wait,
it.
not Celeste?
So Caliste.
Huh. Weird.
Caliste. That's why she changed it. Knight's
So
much easier to
Mr.
pronounce.
Big Stuff for me, it's a fine song, but it sounds like an awesome commercial jingle. Like, I think that's where it should fit.
Which is funny
Ouch.
because I literally know Magic because of a commercial jingle.
Is it really?
Yeah, I talked about it last week where it was like one of those dial zero.
Oh, true.
Dial
Yeah,
O,
that's
O,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Magic is kind of the perfect length for a song of this era. It's only 3 minutes long. And I feel like it's the song I would have driven to all the time on repeat back in the day.
Very,
If I were alive in the 70s. A lot
like-
of hypotheticals.
feels like an 80s song.
Does it? Magic?
I think so.
Really?
I think it sounds like, yeah.
Okay.
But
Are we disagreeing?
I love Magic.
I know,
think
but do you like the song?
Yeah, I like it enough to pick it.
You're both picking it
Yes,
then?
we are.
I'll give a pity vote to Mr. Big
Okay.
Stuff then. You deserve it, Gene Knight.
I didn't want to move forward with Mr. Big Stuff because I realized the positive associations were really from that roller coaster of love song.
It happens.
So, yeah. Magic moves on.
Never been away, hey. Never seen a day break.
All right, now we have Black Betty by Ram Jam.
Whoa, Black Betty, Panda Lamp. Whoa, Black Betty, Panda Lamp. I cannot hear anything but Panda. I listened to this today and I kept hearing Panda Lamp and I cursed you.
Why would you curse me over Panda Lamps?
Versus Baker Street by Gary Rafferty.
It turned to the scuttle every time.
So Black Betty was number 18 on Billboard. Baker Street was number 2 for 6
Black
weeks.
Betty may be the oldest song that we have on this list. I'm betting it is because it was originally recorded in 1933.
Whoa.
And there was the more popular recording came out in 1939 by Huddy Leadbelly Ledbetter. That's hard to say.
Wow.
But he had a thing. And then Bill Bartlett, who was in Ram Jam, he took Leadbelly's version and turned it into the one we
And
know.
this is where I'm conflicted because the original, it's a 1 minute song.
Yeah.
And that's it. So what Ram Jam does is add guitar solos.
Jams.
Yeah, it just jams. And their
Some
quality and their total quality, but it is just a lot of filler for a 1 minute song.
Black Betty, as it started up, I was like, yeah. And
Do you
then,
not like jam bands very much though? Because that's what it totally becomes.
It totally is.
Like a live album.
But then
sort of
Baker
thing.
Street is one where I'm like, I'm not really feeling this song. And then the chorus
It's
hits and you're like, there it is.
6 minutes long and relies on the instrumental. Mm-hmm. The vibe is nice though.
These are actually weirdly fairly matched.
I agree.
Because of that.
Thank you. But
Joel
Baker
sees
Street,
all.
Baker Street is funny too because there's some discontent about who wrote the riff. Because on one hand you have Jerry Rafferty who is saying I wrote this as kind of a vocal thing originally, and then I turned it to a guitar into a saxophone solo. Whereas the saxophone player, Raphael Ravenscroft, great name, by the way.
Such a great name.
Dear one.
He said, no, I didn't get any music. He just said, play something. And so I played that. So there's some back and forth there.
So, and I also want to give some fun facts about Baker Street. There's some controversy behind it because it only hit number 2, and they said it actually hit number 1. But when Casey Kasem recorded a show saying, in our new number 1, beating out Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees is Baker Street, Barry Gibb and his producers called Casey Kasem's show and said, we're going to pull Barry Gibb from performing at any concert, any upcoming concert, unless you make Barry Gibb number 1 and re-record your show. And so it's controversy. I read it online, Joel. Of course it's true.
That sounds so shady.
It was.
I don't believe Casey Kasem would do that.
GaryRafferty.net, so I'm not sure if it's true or not.
Is it Jerry or Gary?
I'm not sure.
I think it's Jerry, but I'm not sure now. Now I don't know
Mumble
anything.
teaser.
But when Black Betty was more of a recent enjoyment for me, like I really didn't know it that
Because
well.
it's an enjoyable song, I feel.
Until this research for the show, I was like, I put a name to the tune. Whereas Baker Street, when I heard that was a wave of nostalgia for an era I never lived in.
Doesn't it feel more 80s, though? Baker Street? I can make a case for either one.
I'm giving it to Baker Street.
Wave of nostalgia, better performance. Or on the charts, right?
Better performance on the charts from Baker Street, yes.
Baker Street.
With that case, so are you going Baker Street?
I
would have to agree.
I am,
because it's a number 2.
it's really close, but I think just based on the performance, I think that nudges it up.
Obviously, Black Betty, I think, is more timeless.
Yeah.
But I think the win goes to
Black
Baker
Betty
Street.
could have come out in 1993.
Okay.
you know?
Agreed.
But yeah, Baker Street moves on.
Winding your way down on Baker Street, lighting your head and dead on.
All right, now it's Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes by Edison Lighthouse.
For my love grows where my rosemary goes, and nobody knows it like me.
I never know how to end that.
No.
Wow.
Feels like a jingle. Like me.
This is
My buddy.
This is another
Cookies.
Good matchup.
Cilantro.
Versus Afternoon Delight by Starland Vocal Band.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight. There we go.
That's the Anchorman version. Every time I have to do the Anchorman
I know,
version.
it is now the version.
Yeah.
Afternoon
I
Delight.
watched the music video as a live performance of Starland Vocal Band, and it was the cheesiest thing I've ever seen because the two women were playing air guitars before the song started, and it just hurt my soul.
Is it
that
more
no rock
cheesy-
and roll was happening?
Is it more cheesy than Love Grows Where My Rosemary
These are-
Goes?
No, this is the song that's been in my head most this week.
You got
Very-
issues, man.
It's very 60s.
The lead vocalist of the Edison Lighthouse, Tony Burrows, apparently he had his finger in a lot of pies because it was one of 4 near concurrent singles, top 10 hits in the UK that he released under different names. He had Gimme Dat Ding by the Pipkins.
Oh, so good.
My Baby Loves Lovin' by the White Plains, and United We Stand by Brotherhood of Man. All him, all charting.
He's really just trying to make it onto many of our brackets. I know that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like it when 70s artists play to a future podcast, so I'm voting for Afternoon Delight. Obviously.
What
I
did
mean,
you
look
vote
at
for?
peak position, number 1 on Afternoon Delight versus number
Afternoon
5.
Delight, begrudgingly.
Oh, happily Afternoon Delight. For me.
When everything's a little clearer in the light of day.
Now we have Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry.
Play that funky music, white boy.
See my intro.
Joel's intro is really cool.
Versus Cruel to Be Kind by Nick Lowe.
You got to be cruel to be kind in the right measure.
We were a little fast there, but yeah.
It deserves it.
So number 1 for Play That Funky Music. It was a top 10 song in 7 countries, and Cruel to Be Kind is number 12 on Billboard's charts.
Yeah.
This is easy.
This is an easy one because Cruel to Be Kind, as much as I enjoy the song, it did not have as much staying power.
It's actually a really good song, just not memorable, sadly.
He had a bigger hit called I Love the Sound of Breaking Glass in the UK, but didn't make it over here. So
Oh, is that the Loving You song?
that's Shattering Glass.
Play That Funky Music is continuing on. Now it's The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia by Vicki Lawrence.
That's the night they hung an innocent man.
Oh, just following from there. Versus Stuck in the Middle with You by Steelers Wheel.
Well, I don't know about it tonight. I forgot the lyrics and that ain't right.
Here I am.
Stuck in the middle with
I could have just jumped to the chorus, but I'm trying to. I'm overthinking it, guys.
Stop it, Joel.
Joel to the left of me, Zach's to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you too.
Now, the night the lights went out in Georgia. It's a murder ballad, which that's a genre, apparently. Murder ballad.
Yeah.
And the whole story is about this narrator who's telling us a story about her brother who came home and he found out that his wife was having an affair.
And then they meet the devil at the crossroads and play fiddle.
No, but I'll tell you what. There were a lot of twists and turns I did not anticipate in this song. Like, you listen to it and you're like, you hear the chorus, but you kind of just maybe tune out the rest of it. There's a shocking twist at the end. Spoiler alert for The Nights Went Out in Georgia.
From the 70s.
This guy finds out that his wife's been having an affair with his buddy, Andy. So the guy gets his
Then
gun.
they take out an ad and find out that they're each other.
No, that's a different. That's a different
okay.
song. He gets a gun and he goes over to Andy's house, but Andy is already dead. Ooh. But then he sees some police doing a patrol nearby, so he shoots his gun in the air because that's what you do. And the police come over and end up arresting him for the murder of Andy. And then it turns out at the end that it was the narrator who's telling you the song. She's actually the one. She's the one.
So
who
Vicki
killed.
Lawrence killed him.
What?
Yeah. She ends with the line, "Little sister don't miss" when she aims her gun.
I think this is what inspired M. Night Shyamalan to do every movie of his.
What a twist.
Yeah, because really the song isn't much without the story itself.
It's a good story though. Like,
It's a good story.
I was actually enjoying
the
it.
song itself.
What an OJ move to write a song about what you did. Wow.
You think Vicki Lawrence really
Is that the
murdered
first
somebody?
time
I don't think so.
Oh, that's so good.
Whereas Stuck in the Middle of You, the story about that one, it's a dismissive tale of the music industry cocktail party, written and performed as a parody of Bob Dylan's Paranoia.
Yeah, it feels like a Three Dog Night song. Like, that's how high quality the song sounds.
I thought it was either Bob Dylan or Tom Petty singing it back in the day. I didn't know who Steelers Wheel was.
But I feel like the legacy of this song isn't from the song. It's from Reservoir Dogs.
It's from Reservoir Dogs. It's from, there was an episode of Supernatural.
Wonder
It's from-
Years.
Yeah, it's not
Malcolm
from
in the Middle.
Supernatural.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Gilmore
had a great episode.
Girls.
Gilmore Girls had it.
I promise it's not from Malcolm in the Middle.
I want to give you my death rattle facts for Night the Lights Went Out, because I'm not voting for this song, but it was covered by Pete Schofield and the Canadians, and that version of the song became the opening theme for John Cena. Ba-ba-da-ba. Kind of amazing. Oh, Zach just did. He can't
Where's
see
Zach?
me.
I can't see him.
On a podcast, just like me doing the hustle.
Wow, we should really start doing video.
So what about you guys? Who wins?
So you are officially voting for
Steelers will.
Steelers Will. Stuck in the middle.
Funny you should mention Reservoir Dogs, because that actually, the night the lights went out in Georgia was also referenced in Reservoir Dogs when nice guy Eddie says, quote, "This is the first time I've ever realized that girl singing the song is the one who shot Andy."
What?
Yeah, they're both in that. And Nights Went Out in Georgia was recorded by Reba McEntire in 1991, became a hit for her as well.
That is actually the version I know better as well.
I really like the story of Nights Went Out in Georgia in the sense of I was like, oh, that's actually kind of a cool, creepy song.
It is. Yes.
It's got to be Steelers Wheel, though.
I'll just give a pity vote to the lights, whatever that one is called.
We call them Zach votes.
Oh, Stuck in the Middle goes on. Now we have All Right Now by Free.
All right now, baby, all right now.
Right now.
Versus Knock on Wood by Amy Stewart.
Oh, you better knock
On wood. Also, you have the starting, which is like the beautiful people, the beautiful people.
I wonder where you're going with that.
If you hear this song actually like played by drum lines and stuff, very cool. This is a great song.
So All Right Now got number 4, Knock on Wood number 1.
It's Knock on Wood.
Knock on Wood.
Knock on Wood.
I didn't say that. Knock on Wood actually is originally written by Eddie Floyd, and if you listen to the version by Floyd, it just feels so slow compared to Amy Stewart. Which, by the way, Amy Stewart, AMII,
Yeah,
she changed her name to that so she could register with the Actors Equity Association.
She's from the northern Utah, southern Idaho area.
All Right Now is one of the most played classic rock songs of this era, though. Like one of the most played. And even It's Free is a one-hit wonder, but still, it has lastability. Knock on Wood is a straight-up banger, though.
And it feels very 70s to me, whereas Knock on Wood, it's just that later era disco feels more 80s to me. And it's weird because it's not.
Sit down and listen test. What would you sit down and listen to all the way through?
I did listen to both these today,
Yeah.
and I listened to both of them in total.
Yeah.
But the one I enjoyed
Yeah.
was Knock on Wood.
Is that your vote?
It is.
Yeah! Then I'll give the pity vote to All Right Now for my dad. I know he loves that song. Dad, that's for
Because
you.
it is classic.
It's a great song.
So the Zach vote goes to All Right Now. And
I'm so sorry about that.
the winner is Knock on Wood.
I'm a bad person.
And for the last matchup of round 2, we have Pop Muzik by M.
Talk about.
Pop music.
Talk about.
Pop music. London, Paris, New York, Munich.
Versus Spirit in the Sky by Norrin Greenbaum.
Going up to the spirit in the sky. That's where I'm going to go when I die.
Wow. Guys, I think our band just got their label pulled.
We
just
real
lost the
lazy.
label.
So Pop Muzik is number 1 on Billboard. Spirit in the Sky, number 3. But it was number 1 in 4 other countries.
And it has lasted longer, I think.
And Pop Music is
It's a better
associated with,
legacy.
it just feels more 80s.
Well,
to me.
it was one of the final hits of the 70s and kind
Pop
of...
Muzik?
Yeah, went right into 1980.
Is Pop Music American?
He's British.
It feels a little European.
British.
Yes.
Oh, because he's M. Got
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I think Spirit in the Sky has the staying power and feels like the 70s. That's why it's used in a bunch of movies.
I would concur with Zach, but he is the Zach vote, so I don't know if I should join him.
I'm not allowed to vote.
You are allowed to vote just at the end when you lose. But you guess what, Zach? You're right this time, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, are we all going
It is Spirit in the Sky.
It is Spirit in the Sky.
Sky moves on.
Take it.
Going on to the spirit in the sky. It's where I'm gonna go when I die.
All right, we move on to our Sweet 16. It's going to be fun. First, it's Kung Fu Fighting versus Rock and Roll Part 2. These are two cheesy
We don't have
songs.
to sing anymore because they know the. Hopefully, they know the songs by now.
They still don't because we sing them.
True.
Well, no, they know them because you put in the clip of it afterwards.
So I don't know if I mentioned this. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous show, but in junior high, there was a karaoke contest, and my friends and I did dance and sing to Kung Fu Fighting because it seems like it's a disco 101 song, like not ready for the disco hits. Try Kung Fu Fighting, but it is one of those classics.
it's so cheesy.
It's so cheesy. But you kind of hate Rock and Roll Part 2, don't you?
It's more cheesy.
Is it more cheesy?
At least Kung Fu Fighting. But it feels like a song.
What's more cheesy than that?
That's true. That's true.
That is called, by the way, the quintessential. This is what it's called: the quintessential Oriental riff. It's a short musical phrase that is used to signify Chinese culture.
I don't know if it represents well.
That's just what it is. I'm just reading Wikipedia source of knowledge and truth.
Joel, do you have a vote?
This is difficult because I enjoy both these songs, and I do.
even
I'm
Kung
getting
Fu
into the
Fighting.
good stuff.
I do listen to Rock and Roll Part 2 all the way through. That is a get pumped up song for me that I enjoy. By the way, fun fact: it was first used in a sports setting in 1974 at a game for the Kalamazoo Wings. And then the marketing director who did that, who brought the song in there, he noticed how it went over the crowd so well. So then when he moved to the Colorado Rockies in 1976, he brought the song with him. And then the Rockies moved to New Jersey, and the New Jersey Devils started using it. And then the Denver Nuggets and Denver Broncos, like everyone started using it after that point.
I'm going to give my vote because I can't make it 1 minute past Rock and Roll Part 2.
Okay, so you're going Kung Fu Fighting.
Sadly, I don't like either song.
Okay.
But it's with the success of Kung Fu Fighting that it gets the win for me.
All right. Joel?
Well, I got to go Rock and Roll Part 2.
All right.
Shoot.
Because that is the song I listen to. Kung Fu Fighting is fun, but it really is about that opening. And then as it drags on, you're like, okay, we
He's
get
like,
the point.
here comes the big boss. Okay.
But I mean, I love the guitar riff on Kung Fu Fighting. They're both good. But yeah, I'm going to vote for Rock and Roll Part 2, so that way
Make it tough
it's
on
a
Zach.
vote.
The Zach vote
It counts this time.
goes to Kung Fu Fighting.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
I get it. But Kung Fu Fighting goes on. Now it's You Light Up My Life versus In the Summertime.
Debbie Boone versus Mungo Jerry.
This is a weird
Easy
matchup.
for me. I think that You Light Up My Life is a sleepy song. I think it's a sleepy. I don't like it as much as a lot of other people do. In the summertime, though, that comes on, I'm chilling. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
And it only took him 10 minutes to write.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was took a break while he was working at Timex and decided to write the song.
And it sold over 30 million copies.
Yeah,
That's efficient.
that's not even the Shaggy version.
Though does
Okay, so what are you voting, Kent?
No, I'm not.
You're voting.
No,
No, you can't.
I don't know.
Just vote for the obvious winner here.
Your heart's getting.
It's
into
tough.
it.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you why it's tough. On the Billboard charts, You Light Up My Life was a bigger hit here. But then In the Summertime was bigger internationally.
And sold like crazy.
Around the
It sold
world.
like crazy. But Legacy I think You Light Up My Life has a bigger one. Like Billboard ranks it as number 7 of all-time top songs. VH1, remember them? It's number 11 for one-hit wonders.
Keep going to that VH1 well.
Yeah, VH1 is like your pick. What happened to MTV?
Yeah,
they did music first,
They did?
and then they stopped first.
Is that what the M stands? Oh, mercy.
Mercy TV.
I'm going to go with a fun song. I'm going in the summertime as well.
I'm going in the summertime.
All right,
It's a sweep. Oh, it's difficult. Let's just
Why
move
did you
on.
put that on me when you were going to vote for it, Zach?
just put "You Light Up My Life" out in the boonies.
If a daddy's rich, take her out for a meal. If a daddy's poor, just do what you feel.
Oh, now we have Hooked on a Feeling versus The Hustle. A song versus a dance.
By the way,
Ooga Chaka.
Hooked on a Feeling, when it first came out in 1968 by B.J. Thomas, didn't have the Ooga Chakas. And then in 1971, Jonathan King added the Ooga Chakas. And if you want to listen to that version, they don't sound quite right. Like there's something weird about it. It's like
The song is still there, but it's missing bass. It's like all treble.
Yeah.
No bass, but it's still the same exact song, to the point where I feel like Blue Swede, who is only a cover band, by the way, they lasted for 2 years, 73 to 75, and they had 2 cover albums. They had many hits as well, based on these covers, but it is a high quality version of that Ooga Chugga song.
Yeah,
because
there's
that's what it's
something
called
missing.
now.
Like they hit it right. Now, I will say that
Both number ones, by the way.
I liked Hooked on a Feeling before it was cool, because back in my elementary school days, we had the Laytones, Lyrics and Lace come over to our school, and they'd sing different songs. These choir bands or bands, high school bands, and the guy's band sang Hooked on a Feeling, and they'd start with like kind of an Arsenio Hall fist pump and be like, Ooga Chaka, Ooga.
It was the 90s, everybody.
And the girls would go nuts. And I thought these guys were so cool. These high school kids were so cool on stage. I was in elementary. I thought they were so cool.
I'm
I
going to
always
sing
wanted to be one of
someday
them.
too. Were you in the Laytones?
No, they ended up building another high school, and I went to another one.
Oh, yeah, you did.
But my brother was in it. My sister was in the Lace group. But the point being is I thought the song was so cool, and I loved it back then. So that when it became popular, I was like, finally, this song is getting the recognition it needs. I'm voting for Hooked on a Feeling.
Zach?
I don't like The Hustle. I don't like disco that much.
But it belongs in the decade.
It's
It is
very
very 70s.
It's very of the decade.
Yes.
What was the performance again?
Both number ones.
Yep. Not going to make it easy on you. By the way, Van McCoy had 11 studio albums, the one who did The Hustle. Well, Van McCoy
And he's an
the Soul
orchestra
City
conductor.
Symphony.
How cool is that?
The Hustle is just so grating to me to listen
Do it,
to.
Zach.
When you're out dancing, dance music, as we know, like you guys have listened to it, you don't recognize the repetitive nature when you're just out there dancing to it.
I even think with The Hustle, if you're doing the dance, it's not going to be as fun. It's more of a roller skating song. Like if
Yeah,
this is on your
I
roller
agree.
skating, you're having a good time.
I agree. Yeah, that's great. But I'm going to go Hooked on a Feeling.
Yeah,
I
clean
would
sweep.
much rather listen to it.
Absolutely.
Hooked on a feeling. I'm high on.
All right, now we have Cats in the Cradle versus American Pie.
Now, these are both interesting because both of these guys, I can't use one hit wonder please on this matchup because both these guys had other hits.
They did.
Harry Chapin had Taxi, WOLD, and Sequel. Taxi, by the way, got him a Grammy nomination and it got him 2 nights in a row on The Tonight Show. Like he went on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and he performed the song. People liked it so much he was asked to come back the next night. And I don't know if he did it again, but
Why didn't they just DVR it?
oh, Zach.
What's DVR?
You're so young. And then American Pie by Don McLean. Don McLean also had Vincent, Starry, Starry Night, Paint the Palette
Like Van
blue
Gogh?
and gray. Yes.
Well, and Crying,
And Crying,
which hit
which
number
is
5,
number
since
5.
they don't have you, number 23. A lot of them were 80s hits as well, though. But he did hit the top 40 several times. So you're right, Joel. I mean, you can make either case.
Yeah.
Cats in the Cradle did earn Harry Chapin a Grammy, or it entered him into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2011. So obviously, we're talking about the iconic songs of each of these artists, the songs they are known for.
So me and my buddy made a music video to American Pie.
With those lyrics and everything. Used us on.
It was
Okay.
it wasn't like a really good music video. We weren't that good. It was just us singing it.
Okay.
And that's kind of that memory associated with that. Whereas Cats in the Cradle, I mean, it hit me as a kid and, thinking about being a father, and now I am a father, and it hits me again. So I have emotional responses to both of these. This isn't an easy decision. Do either one of you have an easy pick?
The only thing I'm leaning towards, because they were both number 1 hits and both sold about the same as well, which is surprising for an 8.5-minute song, to be honest with you. But Cats in the Cradle does, and I haven't quite decided, Cats in the Cradle does feel like a 70s singer-songwriter song, whereas American Pie could almost be in a decade for me.
Yeah.
Despite its subject matter, which is very in the era.
Yeah.
But it's a classic. It's like the Hotel California of this bracket.
Oh, no.
Did I upset you?
I would go Cats in the Cradle. I like this song better. I bashed on American Pie in the last round, and I stand by it. I don't want to listen to it. It's repetitive. I don't care about your Chevy and your Levy.
It's so clever, though.
But the levee was dry.
Over and over. He keeps going back to that well. It's clearly not dry.
Zach, I agree. I like Cats in the Cradle probably more emotionally, but I'm voting for American Pie because it is so iconic. That song is one everyone knows.
I knew you'd go for the epic.
They're both epics.
But like, this is such a long song.
They're both long songs.
Yeah, true.
We'll get together soon, Zach. You know we'll have a good time then.
Boop.
That's an emotional boop right there.
You're getting rid of American Pie?
We sure are.
You're getting rid of American Pie.
This will be the day that I die.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go play Catch with My Dad in a Ford. We're going to drive.
Look, it's going to happen eventually.
I'm going to drive a Ford to the fjord.
There's so many notes I had for that.
Oh, no.
It's gone now.
Yeah, Death Rattle Facts you want to throw out there?
Nothing really major. It just, he at one point said he avoided direct questions about what the lyrics meant because there are some obscure lyrics in there about the king and the jester. And he said they're beyond analysis. They're poetry. You know, I don't want people digging into it. But then in 2015, he auctioned off the original manuscript that had notes on it, and it went for $1.2 million.
Wow.
And then it did, in the notes, it did confirm, like, the king is
there
Elvis.
was a meaning. Okay.
The jester is Bob Dylan. It also talks about the death of Meredith Hunter at the Altamont concert. Mm-hmm. And, yeah. So there's a lot to say, but I cannot believe you guys just voted that out.
We sure did.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, Joel's mom.
Just because you guys have daddy issues.
I'm a busy man.
You cried too.
I totally did. I like both of these, but I thought American Pie was going a lot further.
When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then.
There we go. Let's go forward to the next, which is Ooh Child versus Magic.
So number 8 versus number 5.
So O versus Ooh?
Oh, it's Ooh Child.
I don't know.
This is tough because these songs are really trying to do very different things.
I'm going to vote for Ooh Child.
Yeah.
I like Magic. I like the positivity there, but there's something soothing about Ooh Child. And the 5 Stair Steps, the fact that they were a family group. I don't know, for some reason that it feels very 70s to me.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Ooh Child. And I'm not going to be more
feels
reason.
60s to me though.
Magic
Also-
feels 80s, which I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Magic. I'll put it on Cats.
I hate you, Zach.
I know.
I feel emotional when I hear Ooh Child.
It's
like the way it
is.
starts off, I know it feels magical, honestly. But the build, it really only has a build, and there are 3 verses, and that is it.
So you're getting after this one for being too short when you got off the other one
No,
for
it's
being
not too short.
long?
No, it's a very long song with the same build for each verse, and there's only 3 verses that it just repeats. But it's such a beautiful song. But I get excited when I hear Magic, and that's why I'm voting it forward, because it's just good.
When did the Zach votes turn to the Joel votes?
No.
Yes.
I felt bad for Zach.
I matter. Magic goes on. All right, now it's Baker Street versus Afternoon Delight. Some sax solos.
Guys, can
or
we
what
get rid
happens?
of Afternoon Delight at some point?
You can't vote for this round. Because
for this
Baker's-
round.
For this round, yes,
Okay.
because Baker Street was one. I didn't know it by title. And even as the lyrics started, I didn't know it. The saxophone solo hit, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I like this song.
And then
it
it gets a little moody.
Then it went back to him singing again. I'm like, I don't care about this song. So it really was just those bits where it was Afternoon Delight, as inappropriate as it may be.
Billboard did list it as the 20th sexiest song. I mean, sexiest song of all time.
Which one?
Oh, which one do you think? Afternoon.
Hey,
The one with the
saxophone
solo.
solos.
Actually, that's true. The second greatest saxophone solo of all time.
Yeah.
Stand by that.
By the way, Jerry Rafferty was in Steelers Wheels, like Stuck in the Middle with You, and then he went on to do Baker Street.
Going against logic, and I'm voting for Baker Street.
Wow.
You can't do that.
I don't care.
Did you see that Foo Fighters covered it? Baker
Yeah.
Street? Is that what you're doing it?
Yeah.
I thought
Yes,
so.
I am now.
You're pushing Foo Fighters forward again.
Again.
Yeah, I have to go Afternoon Delight.
Yeah, of course you do.
I have to. Yeah. I gave it some real thought.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
All right, now we have Play That Funky Music versus Stuck in the Middle with You.
So number 1 versus number 6.
Ooh, these are good. These are good songs to go.
I said in the first show, Play That Funky Music is an annoying song.
Can be.
I don't like the riff at all.
Really?
I don't think it's fun. Yeah. Yeah. And because I feel like Stuck in the Middle with You doesn't feel like a one-hit wonder. It doesn't have the kitsch. It doesn't have the tacky factor, which I know can work against it in this bracket.
It can.
But it's a quality song. And so it drives me less crazy. So it's going to be my vote because I wanted to vote first and just get it out of the way.
Okay, I get you.
Which one did you vote for?
Stuck in the Middle with You.
I'm going to have to vote for Play That Funky Music. Not to contradict you, but because I think that Stuck in the Middle with You is the better song.
Right.
But when I think One Hit Wonders, Play That Funky Music by Wild
It's a
Cherry.
good point.
Yeah.
That really feels one hit wonder-ish to me.
And may I call for the performance numbers, please?
That's a number 1 versus a number 6.
Which one was number 1?
Play That Funky Music.
Yeah,
that tips it a little
and
bit
also
for me.
Vanilla Ice did Play That Funky Music. That actually was his A-side. His A-side was a cover of Play That Funky Music, and he didn't give the original writer credit.
Ice
Idiot.
Baby.
To which he sued after that.
Yeah.
And won $500,000.
Which that seems to be Vanilla Ice's MO. He's like, no, it's not Queen's song.
Yeah.
It's my song. But the B-side was Ice Ice Baby that became Vanilla Ice's huge hit. Not that that has anything to do with
yeah.
it, but I'm putting Play That Funky Music simply because, yeah, one hit wonder.
Yeah, it really does fit that kind of kitschy one-hit wonder bill. And
Even though
I'm
Stuck in
gonna
the Middle is so good.
Yeah, Stuck in the Middle. If I'm going to listen to the them
Would-
for enjoyment, probably
Would Stuck in
go
the Middle
with.
with You be as popular if it hadn't been for Reservoir Dogs?
That's my argument. I think it is made by Reservoir Dogs, not by its time in the 70s. But I can't. There's literally no way to actually know. I'm just going to vote, Play That Funky Music, and move on.
Good call.
Yeah, they were dancing and singing and moving to the grooving. And just when
Now, the last matchup of this round,
Please no.
is Knock on Wood versus Spirit in the Sky.
We like to thank our patrons.
No.
Starting with I Am Listener category.
I will go first and say Spirit in the Sky.
Oh,
I enjoy Knock on Wood, but it wasn't one I knew until later in my life. Like, it kind of didn't come around in my childhood. It was more as when I was adult when that song came out. Whereas Spirit in the Sky, I mean, you think of Apollo 13, that scene where he uses it in
Spins
the
it around
spins
in
the
the
tape
cassette.
deck around. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
hear that, and then just it's such an amazing song that starts out with that amazing kind of. It's actually a Fender Telecaster guitar with a fuzz box built into the body.
It is such
that is 70s.
such a good sound.
And it starts off with that amazing riff, and then the tambourines come in, and the clapping comes in, and you're feeling.
But you're forgetting
You're
every
feeling
single
it.
second of Knock on Wood. Every single second is exciting. It's like thunder. It's like lightning.
I enjoy both these songs. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying what is more 70s one hit wonder.
This might be the hardest matchup so far. This is crazy. It's You Are So Sure.
I'm
Spirit in the Sky.
I'm not so sure. It's just
Zach,
that I
just-
wanted to
you're
get
just
them
rolling and
first.
moving on.
This is a Final Four matchup right here.
It
but
is.
it's not.
No,
Zach, what's your vote?
I think I'm gonna have to go Spirit in the Sky too.
I'm begrudgingly going to have to agree.
It's a
so
sweep.
close.
I actually really like Knock on Wood more, but because Amy E. Stewart
Amy
is
E.
a cover artist. Granted, there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with being a cover artist and making a song a little bit better, but her two major hits are popular covers.
what Norman Greenbaum did was create a whole new sound.
On a whim.
Yeah, about a subject
this
he knew little about.
hurts my heart.
It does. Yeah.
I expected Knock on Wood to go Final Four.
Spirit in the Sky moves on. All right, now we move into the Elite Eight, and it is getting intense over here in the Bacon Cave.
Intense and sad.
Yeah. We're mourning, but we're just moving through this. Kung Fu Fighting versus In the Summertime. Rumple Teaser.
In the summertime is so chill and so fun. Kung
It's
Fu
like
Fighting
the-
gets you pumped up.
In the Summertime is a bluesy version of a mumblecore song. You don't even know half of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right?
La da 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 dee. La
That's
da
what you're
da
like,
da
in
da.
the wintertime, probably something happens.
But you can't deny its performance.
The performance is great. These are actually two of the biggest singles of the 70s. Mm-hmm. Granted, one sold 30 million somehow, Cilantro, obviously, and the other one was 11 million. Also Cilantro.
I am going to go.
So it's like, but disco, super 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chill vibe is that 70s as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it like an Easy Rider sort of feel? Is that what you're going with? Like
I'm going without the random motorcycle sound in the middle of it, which is in the summertime. I'm going with Kung Fu Fighting because there's no motorcycle in it. That's not really my reasoning.
Why do you hate motorcycles, Joel?
It's a random motorcycle, and like the song stops and it starts again in the middle. It's a little weird. No, when I think of 70s one-hit wonders, Kung Fu Fighting was one of the first ones that came to mind.
Exactly.
In the summertime is a chill song I think you can listen to whenever. It's a little more timeless, which is weird to knock it down for that. But yeah, I'm going with Kung Fu Fighting.
So am I.
Okay. I actually think this is pretty similar to the Play That Funky Music and Stuck in the Middle for me. It's like this Kung Fu
What's
Fighting.
one of the first songs that comes to your head?
Kung Fu Fighting
Absolutely.
is a kitschy one-hit wonder. And so, yep, it moves on.
Wow. We just took out one of the highest selling singles of all time.
Yep. Cilantro.
In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they did it with expert time.
Hooked on a Feeling versus Cats in the Cradle is up next.
Zach, I have a favor to ask.
Oh, no.
I just dropped in our official chat the band
Okay.
members of Blue Swede. I was wondering if
No.
if you could just read to the listener.
Yes. Thank you for this.
I think we need to explain who these bands are. So if you could just read the names of this Swedish band to the listener, please.
Okay.
Just read it as is verbatim.
Yes.
When you're ready.
The band consisted of Anders Berglund on piano,
Yeah.
Björn Skufs on lead vocals, Bosse Lindenderl on the bass. Hinke Estubi, Ecke Stube.
Make sure to get it right.
Mum Shaba.
And Jan Gulbach.
Probably
on the
Jan,
drums.
but yeah, let's go with
Jan. And Michael Arklu. And Tommy Berglund on the trumpet.
What is this, Arcade Fire? How many band members do they have?
A lot of band members.
That's painful for Zach.
There's a piano player, lead vocal, bass, saxophone, drums, guitar, and trumpet. Oh,
Cats in the Cradle's emotional Hooked on a Feeling is
Hooked on
awesome.
a Feeling. Remember the Dancing Baby?
Yeah, from
The
Ally
Dancing
Ally
Baby
McBeal.
was the first memes
That was a meme,
ever.
but that was in the 90s.
Yeah. Wasn't that the worst?
I kind of liked it. Ooga,
How did you like it?
ooga, ooga.
The weird
That baby
CG
was-
baby that
that was
haunted my
hilarious.
nightmares for years?
That was
By the way,
hilarious.
Joel just did the dance and it was
I did.
adorable.
Ooga, shaga,
Wearing a
ooga,
diaper too, which
ooga.
is weird.
So, again, we talked about Stuck in the Middle being made by Reservoir Dogs. Is this song made by Ally McBeal and further boosted by
100%.
Yeah.
But the problem is I have the outside association just being in my life of seeing this song with the choir coming over and performing it at my school repeatedly.
So Cats in the Cradle does have more success as far as sales go. They're both number one, but Cats in the Cradle has sold 2.5 million copies.
And Hooked on a Feeling is a cover. Cats in the Crater is Cats in the Crater.
Cats
That's
in
a
the
different-
Crater.
That's a sequel.
On the moon.
Cats in the Cradle is an original.
Man on
but
the moon.
Harry Chapin had other hits. Blue Swede, not in the U.S.
I'm putting my vote out there, and it's strictly emotional. I had so much fun singing Hooked on a Feeling with you guys.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
But Zach,
But
your
feel-
point
You feel something.
about would the song be popular without the media?
Yeah.
Which also helps the legacy too, though.
It is. That's presence.
It's presence. But I'm going to give it to Cats in the Cradle because I want to vote first and get it out of the way.
The presence of Hooked on a Feeling doesn't necessarily come from the 70s. Cats in the Cradle has been making fathers question their choices since it came out.
But also Harry Chapin had other hits. Blue Suede didn't. One hit wonders.
They made it on the bracket. They're here.
So wait, so are you voting, Zach?
Not necessarily. Hooked on a Feeling is one of the most fun songs on this entire bracket. It is one of the best songs on this playlist. It's a blast.
But so would be singing Tub Thumping, right? I mean, there are fun songs out there
that
that
was
are
one
hit
of the
wonders,
90s,
right?
yeah.
It should have
But didn't win.
It should have. You guys got it wrong. So many
This is
drinks.
Baconsale.
So many drinks
We
to
don't get
drink.
it wrong. I'm feeling like if I'm going to choose to a 70s one-hit wonder, I don't want to cry. And so I'm voting for Hooked on a Feeling.
Okay.
I want to dance.
Are you also gaming against the other selections on this side of the bracket?
I don't have the bracket up in front of me, so I actually
Okay.
don't know what's going to go against.
It would be a weird matchup either way.
I think I'm looking at Harry Chapin's success, which, by the way, Taxi was a weird song. It was a fine song, but it's a weird song. He likes to tell these long...
He has won a congressional
stories.
gold medal as well.
He has. And Harry Chapin did say that his song, the Cats in the Cradle, he says, frankly, this song scares me to death. And I get that. I don't want to be scared to death.
Oh, they both have hits, though. Because the Blue Suede also covered the Association's Never My Love and I'm Alive.
Did
Hit
that
number
chart in the
7
US?
and number 61 in the
In
US.
the US?
Yes.
Okay, so they're equitable.
So, Joel, you're officially going with Hooked on a Feeling.
Yep.
Putting it to me.
Because I liked the song before it was cool. I still like it.
I didn't like the song before it was cool. Everybody, I think, liked Cats in the Cradle equally over its entire lifetime. I'm going to call that a better legacy and give it to Cats in the Cradle.
Why do you want to make me cry?
He walked away, but his smile never dimmed. Said, I'm gonna be like him. Yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him.
Okay, Cats in the Cradle goes on, and that is a real dumb matchup for the next round.
I love how we all get delirious.
Because we made a choice. Oh my gosh, we are terrified. But here we go. Magic versus Afternoon Delight.
Magic. I want Afternoon Delight to stop making it this far. It's a more memorable song, sure.
it's the
but
Cinderella
personal
story.
preference, I don't want it to go this far. It's
What?
a joke song. This is a straight up joke song.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to vote Magic. Make it easy on Joel.
And I know it's weird because Magic is like the hipster pick of this whole bracket. Something that people probably don't even know listening right now.
It's a good song, though.
It is a good song.
Okay, well, can I give some Death Rattle facts for Afternoon Delight?
Please.
Sure.
Just so you know, the Starland, the title came from a happy hour menu at Clyde's Restaurant in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. The Bill Danoff, one of the members of Starlight Vocal Band, he wrote it when his wife was undergoing surgery. They actually started, Bill Danoff and his wife started as Fat City was their name, and they helped co-write Take Me Home Country Roads.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. By the way, they also had a variety show, ran for 6 weeks, 1977. David Letterman was a writer on it, though. So,
And so they try to have more hits after this one, obviously, and it didn't end up happening.
No.
And then I think they got divorced like soon after, so
Yeah.
everything kind of fell apart for them, which is sad.
yeah.
But yeah.
Afternoon Delight went very far in this bracket and maybe didn't deserve it. Maybe
It's got some really good harmonies.
Maybe it's built
Really
up
good
by
harmonies.
Anchorman and it's
And Arrested Development. Yeah.
and Arrested Development.
Probably so.
It probably, and again, we're kind of coming into that argument of the media that revived it, you know.
Which isn't a bad thing, because that means that someone somewhere remembered it.
True. But Magic goes on. And now we have Play That Funky Music versus Spirit in the Sky.
So number 1 versus the number 3. Though once again, Spirit in the Sky did very well internationally. Top 5 hit in many countries.
By the way, the name Wild Cherry was taken from a box of cough drops. That's where they got the name.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they got the name for the idea for the song when they were brainstorming new song ideas, and this random fan shouted, "Are you white boys going to play some funky music?" And so he grabbed a pen from the bartender or wrote it down the lyrics, started writing the lyrics on a drink pad.
Oh, nice. I mean, the lyrics aren't deep, but still, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who decided that Cherry is wild? When did the cherry get so wild?
The 70s?
I'm just wild. It's always wild.
They
Cherry.
fertilized
cilantro.
They
Let's be
fertilized the
real.
ground with cilantro.
So I found this
Cilantro
out
cherry.
about Norman Greenbaum. Obviously, like we talked about how he wrote this song. In the first year the song was out, it sold 2 million copies. So just smash success. I'm voting first.
Okay.
Spirit in the Sky.
You have been
I
voted.
cannot abide to how Play That Funky Music go
Except
forward.
for I was actually looking at these two, Kent. I hate that we keep doing this because people are going to think it's intentional that
Right.
I'm going opposite you.
Okay.
Just to go opposite you. It's not true, though. This time I was like, I like both these songs so much, so I went with Peak Position. And Play That Funky Music has the number 1 position.
does have number 1
Spirit
versus
of the
number
Sky
3.
is number 3. That's close,
But Legacy.
but it edged it out.
Legacy. You're taking Spirit in the Sky. Or you're taking...
I'm taking Play, the Funky Music.
Okay. You're,
As a 70s one-hit wonder, yes.
And if we're going legacy, Rolling Stone did.
Like, okay, honestly, if you were to talk to someone about 70s music and you say, play the funky music, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I know that one. Play that funky music. They know it immediately. If you said Spirit in the Sky, people would be like, what's that one? And you're like, and they're like, oh yeah, the
You
riff.
mean one of the most popular funeral songs out there?
What?
Spirit in the Sky.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've heard Play That Funky Music at a few funerals too.
That's awesome.
So it comes back to me again.
The good song versus the bad song, Zach.
The 70s one-hit wonder.
Yeah, both of them.
The 70s were a heck of a time.
Says the 90s kid.
I had a lot of cilantro back then.
I mean, we literally just did a classic rock bracket earlier this year, and this song is about as classic rock as you can get on this bracket.
But listen to the funky music. Play that funky music. That
One of
is-
the most tacky
that is
disco
funk.
songs out there. Funk
It's
and
not
disco.
disco. It's more funk than
Yeah.
disco, I think.
I'm going to go with Play That Funky.
Oh, Zach! Oh, you just killed a darling.
I
They're
know.
both good, though.
I know.
They're both good.
I know, and I will
My
probably
heart
regret
is
it.
not in this bracket anymore.
Yeah.
I could knock on wood for you, Zach. Oh.
Okay. Let's just keep going. Okay. Our final four matchup. I'll just go through them all.
Our
Just
worst
real quick.
Final Four ever in the
No.
history of brackets.
Come on.
I don't even care.
Oh, be quiet.
Oh.
Kung Fu Fighting versus Cats in the Cradle.
Oh, they're polar opposites.
And Magic versus Play That Funky Music.
Oh, wow. Okay. Which
All
one are we
right.
going with first?
Kung Fu Fighting versus Cats in the Cradle.
That's
so stupid.
It's so dumb.
It is so dumb because it should not be stressful, but it's stressing me out. I am going to go with Kung Fu Fighting.
Of course you are.
Cats in the Cradle. I shouldn't. I think it would have been a better contender if had gone on, the one that I wanted to go on Cats in the Cradle.
Got a feeling.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better matchup. So I feel like Kung Fu Fighting has the edge because it is 1970s. It's the chop socky film craze of the time. It's got the disco guitar riff. It's got the catchy lyrics.
What catchy lyrics?
Everybody was Kung Fu Fighting.
That's it, though. Like
Those cats were fast
no
as
depth to it,
lightning.
right? There's depth in a story.
We're not going for the most deep songs bracket. This is a 70s one-hit
But
wonder
hey,
bracket.
listen, you love American Pie, right?
Yeah.
The lyrics and the story it tells.
I think American Pie should have gone on. You guys voted that out as
yeah,
well.
but it's out. But now we have Cats in the Cradle to
so apparently you guys
represent.
don't want depth.
I do now.
Oh,
because
no,
I'm going,
I just think American Pie sucks.
I'm going Cats in the Cradle.
Not the movie, the song.
Again, to me,
Both number ones.
You're the tiebreaker, Zach.
So it's disco versus folk rock.
I'm going to make you guys wait while I pull them up.
I was later.
I got a little sample, little flavor.
Hey, remember
Each of
what
those
I
songs.
said about Zach votes being like useless?
Uh-huh.
Obviously, we're putting all the pressure on you
Yeah,
in these final
thanks.
rounds.
Thanks
So
for
thank you
that.
for taking that on.
Kung Fu Fighting is such a silly song.
Very silly.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Cats in the Cradle is one of the more meaningful songs in pop culture.
Kung Fu Fighting eventually went on to sell 11 million records worldwide, making it one of the best-selling singles of all time. It's in the top 25 best-selling singles of all time, just below Cher's song, Believe.
Didn't we cut out that one that won 30 million?
Yeah, you did.
The one that sold 30 million?
I'm pretty sure you did.
Whereas Cats in the Cradle was nominated for
a lot,
Grammy
though.
and also made it into the Grammy Hall of Fame. The song for the bracket to make it to the Grammy Hall of Fame.
I think
But
Legacy. I mean, that's straight up legacy.
on Legacy, I have to go Cats in the Cradle.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
really? Kung Fu Fighting popularized disco music, Zach. It was an afterthought. It was done in 2 takes in the last 10 minutes of studio time when they were recording I Want to Give You My Everything.
Zach's a wild card.
I think Cats in the Cradle.
Why? I'm going to Kung Fu fight you in the face.
Who is this guy?
I don't know.
Who are you?
I don't know. We're moving on.
Daddy issues wins the day.
Okay, Magic versus Play That Funky Music.
Play that funky music. I don't think I don't think Magic should have gone this far. It's the dark horse here. It's the one that doesn't belong. Play the funky music is definitely one that belongs in the 70s one-hit wonder bracket.
Ken's trying to kill it because it took out Spirit in the Sky.
Oh, Play That Funky Music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't like the song. But based on Joel's reasoning, and I want to give him kind of a stress break as well, like I would actually feel like if we put Pilot with Magic through, it would be kind of wrong for the final two.
You know what's so funny about almost every single Baconsale bracket? We stress and stress and stress, but there's always like 1 or 2 matchups right at the end that are super easy.
Yeah,
And
so
I think this one is one of them.
This one is easy. It's
Yeah,
Play That Funky Music.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
We still love you.
In what may be the strangest final of any Baconsale music song bracket, we have Cats in the Cradle versus Play That Funky Music.
When we put Cats in the Cradle on this list, I was like, I love it. It's adorable, right? Because it's the type of song that is just adorable. But to see it go this far is shocking.
Yeah.
But
I know.
it's lovable.
Oh, I know.
Listen,
It's
Kung Fu
shocking.
Fighting.
But can you imagine if the final two would have been Kung Fu Fighting versus Play That Funky Music?
Those are
Now
kind of the
that's-
same song.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a matchup. Equal.
No, it's the same
This
song.
is
They're
like
kinda the
this
same
is
song.
apples and oranges.
So we have singer-songwriter versus funk.
Play the Funky Music, by the way, certified platinum for shipments of over 2 million records, and they eventually sold 2.5 million records in the United States alone.
And same with Cats in the Cradle, 2.5 million.
What? Dang it!
Both number one hits. I mean, this is equal. This is just which one. I mean, if we want to go enjoyment factor, one is more uppity. One is more emotional.
There is that emotional side of the 70s and the
which
kind
one
of
are you going to listen
crazy
to all
side
the way
of
through?
70s. I don't know.
So that's the thing. Is Cats in the Cradle is an investment. Play That Funky Music is repetitive. And so it is both songs. I would say we didn't get the most fun songs on the bracket in the final two. I don't think we did.
I think Play the Funky Music is very fun.
Very fun?
Very fun.
The entire, 4.5 minutes of this?
It's fun.
It's the same thing.
Funky.
It puts the fun in funky.
Yes. That's what my shirt says.
Just because it's the horse I'm riding in on, I do have to go Cats in the Cradle. And because Joel's going to disagree with me.
Yeah, I am.
Zach, you're agreeing. You're the tiebreaker again.
So you have funk, right? When did funk come about into being? When was it most popular? Probably the 70s, right?
Yeah.
What would you categorize Cats in the Cradle as?
Singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter, adult contemporary, which is a genre that
Soft rock.
still continues today. There are absolutely still these kinds of songs today.
Yes.
Now, I don't know that you wouldn't say Cats in the Cradle is going to come out now.
Would there be a ballad? Like, do they do ballads like that now? Like these stories?
Sure,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
That seems very 70s.
It does. They're both very 70s.
You know, Oop Hit 'em Up style was the 90s. Sure.
If you're beaming.
Cats in the Cradle was written by Harry Chapman's wife. So he kind of based it on that. So it's kind of has it's a very family connected one. I love the message of Cats in the Cradle.
And I like that both of these artists wrote their songs. These aren't written by anyone else. They're not covers. And I think in that way, the two very rightful people made it to the final two.
Yeah.
And by people, I mean Wild Cherry and Harry Chapin.
That's the thing. These are so on the opposite ends of
Completely.
of this bracket of what they are. They both have staying power for completely different reasons.
True.
Using some of the same arguments I used in the previous round. I'm going with Cats in the Cradle.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh. What?
Have some fun in your life, guys.
And the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when.
Get out of your dark clouds and enjoy dancing. I can't see a single 70s dancer when I listen to Cats in the Cradle. Not a single one. I see no bell bottoms. I see no disco lights. I see no disco
You
balls.
knocked out classic rock, Joel. You knocked out
I
classic
kept
rock.
funk.
Wow.
I don't like funk. I don't like disco.
Wow.
Why do we let the 90s kid pick this?
I don't even care, but I love this.
Disagree.
Oh, mercy. I cannot wait for the feedback.
Oh, I'm going to get destroyed on Twitter by the three people that know these songs.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
So let us know if you agree, I guess. On Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. We want to see your brackets. And if you don't know what you're doing on the bracket, give it to your parents.
Yeah,
And let them do it. And then post their bracket on Baconsale on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages because we are there. We are listening. We are watching. We enjoy hearing back from you. And let us know if you agree with the choices we made. Or, I mean,
So fun.
in the past, a lot of times they've said, hey, I hated every decision you made, but you ended on the right winner.
Right.
Did we do it again?
We'll see.
I guess we'll see.
Probably not.
Hey, have some confidence in that vote. Wow.
I already regret it.
But before we go, we'd like to give some love to our patrons, which include the I Am the Listener tier, which has Shannon West, Sean Sanquist, Scott Sprague, Rocky and Steph, Sir and Madam Hicks, Lady Terry Finley, Jennifer Kilkowski, Gloclin Daniel, Chris Strout, Braden Winterton, Babs, Bacon Council member Moana B. Kyler, Allison Gall, Alicia Bass, and Adam and Rachel Crump. We also want to give some love to our Bacon Council, which includes Stephen Ross, Ryan and Marley Farron, our favorite couple, the Mansons, Nicole Postal Elf number 29 Hale, Mats, Chris Anderson, Harrell Hannes Jessica Terry, Beaker, and Reverse Listener. Thank you, patrons. Even if we didn't say your name, we appreciate you so much.
You rock.
Yes, thank you.
But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter, or you can find me performing with Quickwits. They perform Saturday nights at the Midvale Performing Arts Center. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
If you want to find me on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to read my movie reviews, it's ShowtimeShowdown.com.
If you want to connect with me on social media and you liked my opinions, it's at Tumbling Mustard. If you didn't, it's at 786Joel. But more importantly, make sure you're following Baconsale on social media, like that Facebook page, and go by at Baconsale on Twitter and Instagram. While you're doing that, stop by tpublic.com/Baconsale. Get yourself some merch. And then if you like the show, like what's going on here, you can go ahead and support us further at patreon.com/Baconsale, where support starts at just $3 a month. Mm-hmm. This week, we talked a lot about basically, it was Halloween. It was Halloween.
Sure.
Our
Our
we did
Halloween
another
recap,
Halloween
yeah.
show. Patreon.com/Baconsale.
So until next time, hold on. I just got a text from my boy. He says, "When you coming home, Dad?" I gotta go, guys. The cat's in the cradle and a silver spoon. The 70s was a big time for herbs.
Baconsale is an argument of convenience. Yeah, come on, you contemporary adult.
Man, those 70s insults.
He was on some cilantro at the time, for sure.
Oh, let's let that be code.
You're welcome, he says.
I kind of, sometimes I do chess moves and I look ahead.
Love me some Pat Boone. You just told that story so you could say me and my wife. I know how you are.
Should get one sometime.
But I love that.
Pretty great.
I actually,
To be real.
that's the voice.
Thank you, Zach.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, Zach, for being the voice of Cheryl Lynn.
Were those words?
How about we just have a moment and you do the hustle?
It's an audio podcast.
Yep.
I'm dancing right now, everybody. Everybody listening, I'm dancing. Do it. Do it.
But we'll get together then.
son or dad.
I love music that makes me question my life.
Is Zach playing the toilet brush?
That's my secret. Audio only.
Gets in the cradle.
If I hear about that stinking Chevy and that dumb Levy one more time.
Zach, try voting on the right side one time. My. Woo! Panda Lamp's gonna happen.
Why'd you curse me over Panda Lamps?
I'm overthinking it, guys.
Stop it, Joel.
Joel to the left of me, Zach to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you two.
What an OJ move to write a song about what you did.
We call them Zach votes.
Oh, that's right up there with condescending.
I'm the worst friend. But then I said stuck in the middle of you two, and I loved it.
I'm not allowed to vote.
You are allowed to vote just at the end when you lose.
When did the Zach votes turn to the Joel votes?
No. I felt bad for Zach.
I matter. Anders Berglund, Björn Skifs, Basse Lindendöl, Hinke Estube, Ecke Stube.
Why do you want to make me cry?
I could knock on wood for you, Zach.
I'm gonna kung fu fight you in the face.
Who is this guy?
I don't know.
Daddy issues wins the day. It would be really weird if, like, the song I chose as my intro ends up winning, though.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's
people,
true.
people think it's fixed. Like I knew beforehand. I didn't. What was that?
Whoa. Just warming up the voice.
Did you sit down something sharp?
Whoa. Whoa, Blossom. Whoa.